Hello everyone, we are back with another robot called Triangular Car which can be constructed using Curious Spark Kit. Let's move to step number 1. In this step, we'll use one C plate and connect a flat rotator on one side such that the hole is created at the end, and we use one nut and bolt to connect this flat rotator. This side we have connected one more flat rotator, but this is connected in a slanted fashion so that the hole is slightly inside. Another C plate, another flat rotator, and another hole using one nut bolt here. One more hole using one more flat rotator and a nut bolt, again in a slanted fashion so that the hole is slightly inside. Let's move on to next step. Here we connect a rectangular plate to the C plates which we have created in last step using one flat connector here using two nuts bolts, one more flat connector and L connector and two nut bolts. Now this L connector is above the flat connector here. This side also one flat connector and two nut bolts, and here also one flat connector, one L connector and two nut bolts. Let's move on to next step. Now in this step we connect one square plate to the assembly we created in last step using one nut bolt, because we had this L connector, if you remember, we have connected this using one nut bolt this side, one nut bolt this side. This square plate is standing here now, and to that square plate we connect one more L connector using one nut bolt this side and one more L connector using one nut bolt this side. Now observe that this is connected in the second slit, not in the top slit. So this also will be connected in the middle. Let's move on to next step. Now here we'll take one rectangular plate and attach to the L connectors on the square plate using one nut bolt here and one nut bolt here. Now you'll observe that because of the slanted nature of this rectangular plate, this nut bolt will not be attached very tightly, it will be a little loose. Then we'll take one double bar and connect to this rectangular plate using two nut bolts here. Let's go to step 5. In step 5, we are going to connect one DC motor at this place and put one spacer onto the motor shaft. At the rear, we had these slanted holes both sides. Through those holes, we are going to pass one big axle, and on both sides, outer sides, we are going to put one spacer each. Let's move to next step. In next step, we have mounted a big gear onto the motor shaft and locked it with a shaft lock. Similarly, we have mounted a medium gear onto the axle which we had inserted in our last step. In the front, we have inserted one more big axle through the holes, the front holes, through and through, and both sides, on outer side, we have put one spacer on the axle. Let's move to the next step. In this step, we are going to connect the wheels. One wheel here, lock it with a shaft lock, one wheel this side, again lock it with a shaft lock, one wheel in the front, lock it with a shaft lock, and one wheel on this side of in the front and lock it with the shaft lock. This completes our triangular car. I hope you enjoy making this car and operating as well. You'll see this car moves fast. Why? Because we have used big gear onto the motor shaft and medium gear onto the axle. So big gear rotates once, it rotates the medium gear more than once, and that means the wheel rotates at a faster speed than the motor speed. Make this robot, operate it, play with your friends, and definitely let me know your experiences of making this robot in the comment section below. Happy making!